thanks for watching Precision Rifle Network. Joel here. Stop right here, and if you haven't already watched the part 1 of this Tikka rifle build, this Tikka Ultralight Rifle build, I will link it up top and you can go back and watch part 1. Also stop right here and hit that subscribe button. That would be hugely appreciated. Also consider supporting through Patreon. There's a link below. Now, this is the complete rifle, guys, and I have already put it together. You're seeing it after I've already cut the B-roll and made all the parts of the video. But how did we get to this point? So today I'm going to talk to you about the LSS chassis and the composite buttstock from MDT. I'm going to talk about the MPO scope from Brownells and the muzzle brake and the ARCA rail and just some of the finishing touches that brought us to this point. So part 2 is going to be kind of the rifle assembly, and then part 3 of this video, the final part, we're going to take her out to the range and break it in and start gathering some dope on it. So that'll be how does it shoot in part 3. So let's get into the video. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and try to get this thing put together. First things first is the MDT LSS chassis. So I'm going to go over the features after I get this all kind of put together. We'll talk about those sorts of things in a little bit, but right now I'm just going to put it together for you and show you kind of what you need in order to get this thing put together. So I am going to start with the action. Carefully down in with that. You've got 2 screws, you've got a short and a long. The long one goes down through the grip, short one down through the front. You always want to tighten up your front one first. So I snug that one just the tiniest little bit, make sure everything's kind of seated in place. And again, I will just kind of barely snug that. And then I'll come back and I'll do the rear. Now these need to be torqued down to about 60 inch-pounds, and I'm going to do that after the fact. I'm not going to waste you guys' time, but just suffice to say you need to torque those down to specs. Alright guys, and the next part is to get the buttstock attached to the chassis. So this is like any other AR-15 type buffer tube, just screws threads into the back with castle nuts, tighten it down, and there's a little set screw under here that we're going to do after the fact. Right now let's just see if we can get this thing started. I'm using my left hand right now, so that should be comical. Oh, there we go. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So we're going to go ahead and turn this all the way down. Now it doesn't line up perfectly. You get to a point like right there, that's all the way in, and it's obviously cocked off to the side. You could, if you needed to, if you're the kind of person that likes to kind of cant your tube in a certain direction to just marry up to your body a little bit better, you could cant that off just a little bit. I like mine straight up and down, so what I'm looking for is to just line it up basically straight down with the top of the rifle. And then we're going to take the castle nut, tighten that down, and I'm going to take this over to the vise and tighten that down with our castle nut tool, and then we're going to set that set screw so that it may just make sure it doesn't, even if this comes loose, that won't allow it to back out on us. And then after the fact, we'll do the grip. And the reason for that is you need to be able to access that little set screw, and you can't really do that very well when the grip is attached first. So a little pro tip there for you guys. So let's get over to the vise and we'll tighten this thing down. Go ahead and get this put in here. Now I use this silly piece of foam just to make sure that I'm not damaging the side of my rifle. I don't really have a good way to hold this stuff into my vise. I'm not much of a rifle builder, guys. You have probably realized that. And it doesn't need to be cranked in there hard. I'm not putting hardly any pressure on that thing at all. It really is just to keep it from twisting as I tighten the castle nut. Just hand tight. You do not need to crush this thing down. So that finishes up with that. And now for that tiny set screw down here, I'm just going to make sure that that thing doesn't back out of there. So we want that down in snug. Again, hand tight. This is a tiny little screw. You don't want to strip anything out. It really is just to keep that thing from spinning on you should the castle nut come loose. And now the grip. pretty snug on that one. There we have it, guys. Barreled action thrown into the chassis. Looks pretty good. Sweet.
Alright guys, let me give you just some details now about the chassis and the buttstock and the scope. The MDT LSS is a lightweight precision rifle chassis that is truly a crossover for anyone looking to upgrade their hunting rifle or their competition rifle. It really can work well in both roles, or any role in between really. The weight of the chassis and the CCS, or composite carbon stock, is 2 pounds 8 ounces, making it one of the lightest options on the market. A hunter looking to build a lightweight rifle would appreciate the LSS in its factory stock form, while a PRS-style competition shooter might attach the MDT weight system to the M-LOK slots on the chassis and would most likely opt for a heavier buttstock option. The grip is just like any standard AR hand grip, so you can change that out for a more vertical style like MDT's adjustable vertical grip, which would be great for competition, or it will accept any standard AR grip. Another feature is the built-in barricade stop that keeps the shooter from putting pressure on the magazine while firing from non-standard positions in competition or the field. Leaning into or putting pressure on the magazine can cause malfunctions, bottom line. Finally, the chassis has a V-bedding system that locks the barreled action into place and therefore does not require the action to be bedded in any way. The barrel is also completely free-floated. The composite carbon stock is adjustable for cheek height by way of the riser that can be locked into place, and the length of pull is adjustable by way of the removable buttstock end plates. The MDT LSS chassis has an MSRP of $399.95. The CCS stock has an MSRP of $119.95.
Alright, the scope I'm going to be using for this build, guys, is the Brownell's MPO. This is their 3 to 18 by 50. I will tell you more about this scope a little bit later on, possibly in the third video, but I want to go ahead and get it attached to the rifle. Now, you know, full disclosure, I've already leveled everything. I was going to take the time to show you how to properly level the scope and do all those kinds of things, but I've already made other videos for that, so I've already placed it on here. I already know exactly where it goes and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm just going to go ahead and get her attached here and torqued down, and you guys will be able to see the finished product. Now on your bases down here, 50 inch-pounds is a pretty good, you know, all around, like, it's just where it should probably be, is in the 50 inch-pounds range. So I use 50 for my bases, I use 25 for my rings usually, unless a manufacturer, you know, wants something else. So something that I will mention that you didn't see me just do is I pushed everything to the front before I locked this down. It's kind of one of those micro adjustments that you want to make sure you do. So scope is attached. There she is. Looks pretty good. Can't wait to shoot it. Well guys, as we finish out this video, I just kind of wanted to give you the finishing touches on what made this rifle complete, and of course I'm going to finally give you that weight of the overall system, because after all, the ultralight Tikka build, if I never said what the weight actually was, you guys might let me hear about it in the comments. So let me go ahead and cover some of those additional parts. Again, the Brownell's 3 to 18 by 50, the MPO scope, was a great lightweight choice for this that still gave me all the functionality that I needed in a competition style reticle and scope. The feature set is there, and I will be doing a completely separate review on the scope by itself sometime in the near future. As far as kind of the finishing touches are concerned, we can start up here with the muzzle. I went with the Landtac Dragon muzzle brake, and the reason I did that is because it fits my Dead Air Sandman suppressor, the quick disconnect, and so this way I can run it with a brake that is a decent brake and does a good job, and then I can easily just attach my suppressor to it, and it's a nice clean look as opposed to being, you know, this big bulky kind of oversized thing that I've seen in the past. So went that direction with it. I am leaving the factory Tikka trigger in here. This thing breaks at about 1.5 pounds, little under 2 pounds. And that's fine. For any kind of competition or hunting that I'll be doing, that's absolutely fine. I typically run my competition gun at 1 pound, maybe slightly under that. This being 1.5 pounds will not slow me down, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form. So that's going to be good. As far as the Arca rail section here, I wanted to try something that was shorter and really lightweight and inexpensive. So I went on Amazon and I found this little 4-inch chunk of Arca rail, and it is compatible with Really Right stuff as well. And I'm running the Atlas Cal bipod on that. So overall, I'm very happy with the end result of the rifle. Part 3 of this video is going to be how does it shoot, but I know you guys are itching to find out the total weight. So my goal was to stay at 10 pounds or less with this precision rifle build. Unfortunately, I came in a little closer to 11 pounds because I really wasn't accounting for this Arca rail section and the Atlas Cal bipod. So the rifle by itself is like 10 pounds 2 ounces, I think is what it came out to be, and then this rail section and the Atlas Cal together brought it up to right around 11 pounds. So still, it's a complete deviation from what you're seeing in the competition world right now. I know my competition gun runs like 25 to 26 pounds. So for this to be, you know, coming in at 11 pounds, you know, it's going to be a drastic difference. And I am going to feel it in the recoil a little bit, but, you know, this being 6 Creedmoor, it's still not going to be all that bad. It's just going to require me to hammer down on the fundamentals and make sure that I'm doing my part so that I can mitigate that recoil. So guys, hopefully you appreciated, liked. I need to stop saying appreciated, as if I'm expecting you to appreciate my work. That's not how I mean it. What I'm trying to say is, I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button down below. Definitely subscribe. And guys, thanks for watching this part. Stay tuned for part 3. We'll see you in the next one.